Okay, so tonight we are going to chat a little bit about time management, which was kind of a common answer in that poll that I did for you guys, or the questionnaire, I guess. Was just I know like lots of us have kiddos going back to school, and also a lot of you guys are teachers going back to school also. So, time is just, your schedules are different. Our schedules are all different. And so I feel like this is such a good thing to maybe chat about. So anyway, I want to start by kind of just reinforcing really having a why. And having a why that means so much to you that it will get you to kind of do the things that maybe you don't want to do, maybe that are a little hard, maybe that are uncomfortable, something that you can think about. And it will be like, okay, yes, I've got to do this because this means so much to me, whatever that is. Like for me, it's like, I show up on my health and fitness journey because yes, your why should make you cry. I love that. I show up on my health and fitness journey because I never want to feel the way I used to feel when I looked in the mirror and like just did not ever want to leave the house, didn't want to get dressed, didn't like to put my clothes on. I would literally go through my closet. My entire closet would be on the bed or on the floor. And I would just be like standing there looking in the mirror, like, who am I? Like, what is this? Like, I can't keep living like this anymore. And so that makes me show up and do my workouts. And then for my business, my why is to never have to go to the grocery store and think like, okay, how much money do we have in our bank account? How much money can I spend at the grocery store? And not have to live super paycheck to paycheck, and ultimately be able to have the flexibility to be a full-time body partner and be able to have like the flexibility to do whatever my kids need whenever they need it. Like to not have to ask for time off, to not have to switch schedules, to not have to beg or do anything, like literally just to be able to say, yes, I will be there. Yes, you can do that. Yes, mommy can do this for you. Yes, mommy will be there for you. Um, and so that is like, I want that so much that that will make me get up when my alarm goes off. That will make me send those invites that make me super uncomfortable and nervous. And that will make me make time to do this when I don't necessarily have time. So it's just like our health and fitness journey. A lot of times, it feels like we don't have time. And sometimes it's a matter of making that time, figuring out how we can make that time in our schedules. Okay. So some of the things, I actually went to Google and I went and searched like time management Beachbody. There are tons of different recordings on YouTube from different partners who talk about time management. And I listened to one. We were driving 2 hours to Target and Sam's Club, and we drove 2 hours home. So I got to listen to some things and kind of take some notes. And so some of these things, I mean, all these things are things I do too, but I also got some ideas from some other people. And I feel like my table is so sticky. My kids have been making slime all weekend and I've been wiping the table, but I'm like, oh, my arm is like sticking. It's so gross. So I will start by saying, I remember like when I started this business, Jess, my coach, telling me that she was working like in a financial field. I think she worked for like Priceline or something like that, which is like so cool, but like in the corporate world. And she had to commute like an hour each way. She would literally, you guys, get up at 3 a.m. to work her coaching business before work because it meant that much to her, because it was like, she wanted to be home with her kids and she was willing to do whatever. Now, I'm not saying you guys need to get up at 3 a.m., but that is what it took for her to do the things in her business that she wanted to do to achieve what she wanted to achieve. So I think you have to kind of get a little bit serious and get a little bit like connected with, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I want. Here's what I need to do to get there. And be willing to make some sacrifices if that's what it entails. Like if you are in a place in your business where you're happy with where you're at and it isn't necessarily something that needs to be changed, then that's perfect. But if you're like, okay, here's where I'm at, and this is not where I want to be, I want XYZ. Like, I want an income that is significant. Like, I want to be able to pay my mortgage. I want like to have a financial like backbone with this business, then it's going to take, some sacrifices, just like it does with your health and fitness journey. And I know for me, like on my health and fitness journey, I used to get up at like 6:30, maybe 7, and get out the door and be to work by 8. And the thought of having to get up earlier for me for so long put me off. And I didn't want to get started working out because I was like, I don't have time. I'm not a morning person. Like, I had all the excuses. And so it came to the point where I had to decide that that was the only way it was going to happen, was to make that time. So I kind of want to just have you guys use the principles I know you all have with your health and fitness journey, because you all are prioritizing your health and fitness journeys, and apply it to your business so that you can reach the goals with your business. So, let me think about what else. So another thing that I like to try to think too, and again, this isn't everyone's goal, and I know that, but for me, it's kind of thinking about your business in a way that, like, for me, I want it to provide a full-time income. So I need to treat my business like it is a full-time job. And I'm not saying that I need to work 8 hours every day, but I need to treat it like it's something that I have to do every day. Like, it is a non-negotiable. I have to do the things, or else I can't expect the return. You know what I mean? So it's kind of getting real with yourself a little bit with some of those expectations, and just kind of where you're at versus where you want to be, and kind of changing your thoughts. So the first thing I want to share, and I think is so important, is kind of making a plan. So tonight, I know it's kind of late for you guys, but planning your week as much as you can. And if that means like literally sitting down and saying, okay, my alarm goes off at 5:30. My workout needs to start by 6. I need to get to work by 8. I have a lunch break at noon. I get done at 3. I pick the kids up at this time. You like literally plan out your day, write down the times. If you know the times, write them down, and then look at your day and say, okay, if I was able to get up 30 minutes earlier and I could do a few things in the morning, how much further would I get ahead by starting my morning with that time for my business? How much better would I feel? Like, I almost feel like it makes me feel like I'm ahead of the game rather than feeling like I'm behind the 8 ball when my alarm already goes off. I'm already like, okay, I don't have time for that. I'm going to have to push that off until later. And then things happen at work and I don't get a lunch break. So then there goes my lunch break time. And then I have to pick the kids up, and then it's like scurry, scurry because they're starving, got to get home, make dinner, get them to bed, all the things. And so it just feels like the day just kind of plummets out of control if I don't take that time in the morning when I know I have control of that time for the most part. I know sometimes kids ruin that for us, but like being intentional with that time. The other thing I heard one of the girls in the recording I listened to say was she would actually get out of the house. She would go to work early. She would go to work like 30 minutes early, and she knew she could get on an uninterrupted time at work if she got there early, and she could work her business for a little bit of time at work. And I thought that was genius. Like, even if you just sat in your car and you had 15 minutes and you were able to send out some messages quick, maybe put together your post that you've already planned out because you've planned your week out. How awesome would that be? I feel like that's so smart. Also, like, I know for me, when I worked in the clinic, if I went to the break room, everybody would talk to me. And it would just be like, people would just be talking about work and talking about patients and talking about this and that and the other thing. And I was like, very like trying to be in my phone, but you can't help but like hear what everyone else is saying. So like sometimes I would literally just watch my car and just be like, okay, I need to do these things, and I'm going to treat this like this is like an appointment for me. This is a big deal. So that was one thing. The other thing, and I kind of touched on it, is like planning out everything. So like if you're working 5 days a week, plan your posts out, plan your content, plan out what you're going to talk about. Like, are you going to talk about your health and fitness journey? Are you going to talk about partnering? And don't be afraid to talk about partnering, because if you want to grow your business, you have to talk about partnering. But um, planning out your posts and stuff. And even if you only have an idea, think about how much further ahead you'll be on that day if you have an idea. Like if you're like, yes, Transformation Tuesday, I'm going to talk about my transformation, and you know in the back of your mind what photos you're going to use, or you know you need to take some photos, you can do that ahead of time and have them ready. And even if you don't have the whole thing planned out exactly, you at least can, maybe even the night before, write out the post and have it ready. But I just think that saves so much time, because I know when I'm like, okay, I've got to post, I only have 20 minutes. It's like that panic mode makes me like not be able to focus, and I end up spending more time trying to come up with something to post than I have. And then I'm already like, well, it's too late. And it kind of gets out of control that way. So I feel like I have had the most success when I sit down and plan out my posts, and you can just print a free calendar off Yahoo. Like it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but and then I think I shared a September content calendar. Grab some ideas from that. It doesn't have to be, it could be old posts and you can recycle them if you have some from like 6 months ago or something like that. Whatever works for you, but just trying to plan ahead. And just remember, it might take some trial and error with trying to figure out what's going to work for you in this season. And one of the good things slash hard things is that what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everyone, which is a good thing. It means that you can create and kind of mold this business to your life, but it also means I can't necessarily tell you how to be successful with that. It has to work for you, and you have to kind of play around with what's going to work for you. But it's just like meal planning and all the things, planning ahead, having a game plan, and knowing a little bit ahead of time just sets you up for success. What else? Just thinking about where you can put in more time in your day, whether it's like, I know even when I used to work in the clinic, like 8 to 5, I would get there, and sometimes I would have a break between patients or whatever. So I would try to quick send some messages, look at my stories, send a couple invites. I'd go to the bathroom, send a couple messages, like respond back or send some more or whatever. Like it was very pieced together. It was not like a straight hour, a straight half hour. A lot of times it was very here and there whenever I could find the time. And I feel like that's real life. That's working mom life, working adult life. The chances of us finding a total hour in the day are very slim. But remember those important things from the business activity tracker. The things that you focus on that are going to move your business forward are the things that you need to focus on, and you need to put your time and effort into when time is short. So those are the income producing activities, the being super intentional that you're not getting sucked into scrolling Facebook, scrolling Instagram, watching stories, reels, all the things that I know are so easy to get sucked into, and I'm super guilty of, but that you are like doing the things, posting in your stories, posting on your feed, following up with people, reaching out to the people who are following along with you and who are liking and commenting. And then if you have time other than that, it's growing your following so that you have more eyes in your content. And then it's engaging. The engaging is important, but that engagement on that day is not going to give you a paycheck. It's not going to give you income. It's not going to get you helping someone necessarily on that day. So that I would do like last. And if you have to sit down and say, okay, like here's my check marks, here's what I need to do in this order. All right, I've done this, I've done that. Set a timer, whatever works for you. Because again, all of us are different with what motivates us, what slows us down, what discourages us, and all the things. But kind of trying to figure out what's going to work for you. And if it doesn't work, try something different. Don't get frustrated. I think I saw Kate said something. Yeah, try to get to work 30 minutes earlier to use your time however you need. And then you're not like waiting until I know sometimes like I'll sit down, I'll get like sucked in and like sending lots of messages and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta leave. I'm like so late. And then like if you did, you're like already at work, you're not like trying to get to work like late. You're already there. So I feel like that just like takes a little pressure off. But I could go on and on just kind of talking about things because I know how hard it is when you are just like, I literally am just going all day and I just don't know how to fit this in. But I promise you can. And remember that doing something is better than doing nothing. And even if you have to say, okay, today I'm going to do invites for 15 minutes before I fall asleep. Tomorrow, I'm going to do some follow-ups for 15 minutes, like doing something that moves your business forward, that keeps the momentum going is better than saying, I'm not going to do anything today. I'll do it tomorrow, because then you're going to say the same thing tomorrow. And then you're going to say the same thing the day after that. And before you know it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't have any conversations. I don't have anybody to follow up with. I don't have anything going on. It's the middle of the month and I've got nothing. And you don't want that. So, I hope that is helpful. I'll keep looking for time management stuff because again, I think that's something we can all use help with. And no matter what season of life you're in, it's so helpful to just be better with your time and to just be efficient and to get the most done that you can. And I have a friend, my friend Lauren, is working full time and she is on track. She is literally probably going to hit elite before the end of the year, which you guys is literally huge. She and I were at NLC together. We're like kind of in the same place in our business. But she is like literally on fire and she still works full time and she's a mom of 3. And I kind of want to ask her if she'll talk to you guys about how she manages her business. Because I think that could be really helpful from coming from someone who works full time, who is a mom, who's doing all the things. Her kids are involved. Her husband's a farmer and a teacher, I think. And she works like in an office job. I'm not entirely sure what she does, but I know she works full time. So I'm thinking about asking her to speak. So anyway, okay, I will do a quick boomerang and I will let you guys go. I'm sorry for going over a little bit, but hopefully it was helpful. And I hope you guys have a good Sunday evening. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love the smiles. Okay. Have a good night, you guys. Thanks for hopping on.